Welcome to Hilary Topper On Air, the podcast you can't afford to miss.
Does work hurt? Are you unhappy at your current job? Do you want to make a change, but you're not sure how? I'm Hilary Topper, and this is Hilary Topper On Air. Today, I'm speaking with Rebecca Levine, a work relationship healer and author of Work Hurts: 3 Steps to Healing Your Relationship with Work. Hi, Rebecca. Welcome to the show.
Hi, Hilary. Thank you so much for having me.
So tell us a little bit about yourself and your background.
Sure. Well, right now I am working as a work relationship healer. I've really dedicated my life to helping women in management, and I also do work with men, but having good, healthy relationships with work where they are experiencing fulfillment, recognition, reward, all the things that make someone happy at work. And I have spent 20 plus years in the HR and staffing industries. So I've had a lot of time and a lot of experience looking at people's relationships with work and understanding what makes them happy, what causes a good relationship, what are the factors that create unhappiness and bad relationships with work. And I really took all of that experience, plus my own personal experience of being absolutely miserable at work when I first started out in the paralegal field, actually. And so I combined all of that experience, and that's how I ended up writing the book. I wanted to share what I have learned in the multiple decades I've been doing this, and it's brought me to where I am today, to really focusing on helping people with this issue of unhappiness and dissatisfaction with work.
Now, there are a lot of people out there who are very unhappy with their jobs. As a work relationship healer, what kind of services do you offer?
So really what I like to do when I'm working with people is take that holistic view, right? Because we can't compartmentalize our relationship with work. It is part of the whole of who we are. And when I am working with women in management, we really start at the beginning to create lasting change. And this is what I have seen and learned, and what I really believe: to create lasting change. So to really transform that relationship, to be able to design a relationship where work works for you, you have to be able to find what's wrong. You've got to name it to change it. And so when I'm working with people, we spend a lot of time diving deep into what is working for them and what isn't working for them in their relationship with work. So just like if you had a romantic relationship and it's not going so well, you're going to spend some time trying to understand what's working, what's not working. We do something very, very similar when it comes to work. And truly, when I'm working with a client, I'm looking for the pain points, because in the pain points, there's information. The pain and our unhappiness is a symptom. It's trying to tell us something. It has information to give us. So we're going to identify those. And then from there, we're going to be able to look at, like I said, name it to change it, and find basically what are those elements that need to change, and create a blueprint of how we get our needs met in our relationship with work, a blueprint for how we give our gifts and talents to our work. And then once we have that blueprint, we are then creating an action plan to go out and implement this blueprint. And what it does is it basically redesigns someone's relationship with work. And what I find is a lot of people haven't ever had the opportunity to actually design their relationship with work. You know, they might have gotten out of college and found a job, and sort of their career just went, right?
Right.
And they haven't had the opportunity to ask themselves the deep questions, to identify gifts and talents that they actually want to share with the world. So you put all of that together, and you've got this now design, and along with an action plan, we can go out and start taking the steps needed to implement that design.
Now, would you say that a lot of this has to do with self-esteem? I work at Hofstra and I teach, and I've noticed that a lot of the young women have low self-esteem. Do you think that that comes into play with this work relationship?
I think two things play into it when we're looking at self-esteem. One is the question, and I ask people this: have you given yourself the permission to have work that fulfills you? Do you believe that you deserve that, right? Because it's a gift we give to ourselves. And the other thing that I have found that where self-esteem really impacts and can really damage a relationship with work is if you are doing work where you are not being fulfilled, where you are not being rewarded or recognized, all those things, that takes a toll over the years that impacts our self-confidence, that impacts our belief in ourselves. It begs the question, and I've had clients ask me this, Hilary. It's like, you know, they hear what I'm saying, but like, can I really do that? Can I really create that? And it's because after years and years and years of being unfulfilled, of being unhappy, it does impact your self-esteem. Absolutely.
Interesting. Now, talk to me a little bit about the types of people that you work with on a daily basis.
It's a broad spectrum. You've got to have your tagline. So mine is women in management, but I work with men and women who have reached a certain. Usually clients come to me when they have reached a certain point in their career, and they've looked around and they said, really, you know, is this all there is? Is this all I'm ever going to get out of work? So I work with people probably, you know, kind of late 30s, early 40s, 50s kind of range, and who have they've put in the time, and they're not getting anything back from that, right? And so it's these people who are starting to ask questions, and they're wondering, is there a way out for me? Is there a way out? And that's what I help people do, is clear away the pain, clear away the confusion, open up sort of that line of sight into possibility, and then you can do those, you know, do that investigative step I talked about, and the blueprinting and the action planning.
Interesting. All right, before we move on, I just want to say that I'm so appreciative of our sponsors, and I have to take this moment out to thank them. Please support our sponsors and tell them that you heard about them on Hilary Topper On Air. Special thanks to the Russo Law Group, MetPro, and Fortune Fine Jewelry. So, Rebecca, back to you. When it comes to work hurting, why do you think we need to talk about the pain?
I have heard so many people come to me and they say, oh, I don't like my job. I need to change it. Or I don't like my manager. I need to change it. You simply cannot create change from the sort of that macro level of, well, I don't like my job. Because that's not the issue. The issue is deeper, and the issue tends to be revealed easier. It takes effort, but through that pain. Because like I said before, it is telling you something. Just like, you bang your leg and you get a bruise and it's sore, it's telling you something. And when you're feeling that discontent, you might not be able to identify that right away. But when somebody starts asking you questions about, well, tell me why you feel this way. When do you start feeling this way? What are you missing? You start to move outside of the pain, right? Because we're sort of talking about it, it's subsiding a little bit. And then the information starts to be revealed. So many times we spend so much time saying, I hate my job, right? And all we're doing is saying, I'm in pain.
Right.
But we're not moving beyond that fact. So that's why I take people from that macro level of I hate my job and start getting them to focus. Well, let's talk about why. Where does it hurt? Because then we can see, okay, well, what really is it within work that is not satisfying? And so many times, Hilary, we end up at the place of, I'm unhappy because I'm not doing what I'm meant to do. That's profound, especially when you're talking to somebody who's been in the workforce for 15, 20 years, and they've given so much of themselves, but they've never done their heart's desire. They've never truly expressed their gifts, their talents, their uniqueness within the purview of work. That's painful. But you have to talk about it in order to be able to name it, to change it.
Yeah, I mean, it makes a lot of sense. I think a lot of people, they say, I hate my job. And then someone else says, well, if you hate your job, get another job.
Right.
But it's the same cycle, right?
Exactly. I call that the anywhere but here job search strategy, right? You are so unhappy, you'll go anywhere.
Right.
And I've seen it hundreds of times. And that's why when I talk about creating lasting change, positive, permanent change, it has to come through some of the work I'm talking about.
Absolutely. And that's a huge thing. It really is. So let's now focus a little bit on your book, Work Hurts, 3 Steps to Healing Your Relationship with Work. Can you tell us what readers would expect if they read this particular book?
Absolutely. So Work Hurts starts really with a discussion about our society today and where we are as a people with I should say, our communal relationship with work. And I wanted to start it there because I felt it was really important to bring this topic out of the dark into the light. I talk about it being a dirty little secret, meaning that, yes, we'll tell anybody and everybody that we hate our job, but the pain that has caused us, we're not talking about. So I start that conversation, and then that's the first section of the book. And the second and the third sections of the book are delving into doing exercises that help you identify aspects of your own pain within your relationship with work. And then the third section of the book is actual exercises you can do to design your relationship with work and create an action plan so you can really transform your relationship with work and make work for you for a change.
So do you recommend self-talk?
I do. I recommend, and I have it in the book too. I have several questionnaires in the book because I really believe, just like you mentioned, young women coming into the workplace. I really believe that most of us enter the workplace completely unprepared, and
Yep.
especially we do it at such a young age,
Yep.
right? And what do we know about ourselves and the world at
Yep.
21, right?
Exactly.
So I believe in giving yourself the gift of looking at these questions, taking the time to think about what is it about me that I want to share with the world? Do I bring to the world incredible organizational skills, or do I have incredible people skills? I mean, where are my talents? And then be able to build off of that. But with the concept of self-talk and self-questioning, it is absolutely about looking at some of these questions and give yourself the time to and the gift to answer them, and see what evolves for you and develops for you from that.
Yeah, I would think that if you really hate your job, that it could also hurt you physically, not only emotionally, but physically. You can get sick from it, right?
It's interesting. I was speaking with a woman just the other day, and she said, my job is not taxing during the day, but she said it was a minor miracle that at the end of the day she could make it from her car to her front door because she was so exhausted.
Wow.
And we talked about the fact that exhaustion at the end of the day is a telltale sign of lack of fulfillment.
Hmm.
Because when you are giving and giving and giving every day and you are not receiving, Hilary, that is exhausting. And there is a physical toll from that.
Oh,
Absolutely.
amazing. That's really something. What an interesting profession you have. So, so how could people um, buy your book, Work Hurts, 3 Steps to Healing Your Relationship with Work? And I would suggest anybody out there who has a negative relationship with work, go out and look for this book, Work Hurts.
Thank you. I appreciate that. People can find it by going to RebeccaLevine.org. There's a link on my website that will take you to Amazon to purchase the book.
Awesome. That's awesome. And how can people get in touch with you to learn more about your services as a work relationship coach?
Absolutely. Folks can come to, again, RebeccaLevine.org, and you can email me, and I'd love to chat and see where you are in terms of your own relationship with work. Absolutely.
Now, do you work with people around the country?
I do. I do a
Awesome.
lot of work via the phone, and have people in all different time zones.
That's awesome. I have trouble keeping track, but I'm sure you're a little bit more organized. But I want to thank you so much, Rebecca, for being on the show. This was so incredibly informative. And I would say, again, if you have a relationship that you don't like with work, go out and get the book, Work Hurts, 3 Steps to Healing Your Relationship with Work. And I would also like to thank our sponsors, the Russo Law Group, MedPro, and Fortune Fine Jewelry. And last but not least, I want to thank you, our listeners, for tuning in. If you want more information about this show or any other show, visit our website at hilarytopperonair.com, or you can find us on Spotify, iTunes, Google Play, SoundCloud, you name it, we're out there. Have a great week, and we'll see you next week.